Welcome to Flooring Models Kit Review Time. Today we got Trumpeter's latest 1/48 scale. This is the MIG-23 BN Flogger H. Okay, you can see on the front, lovely box art showing the check one. And some of the bits we've got down there. So showing we get a little bit of photo etch, lots of weapons markings down there, and obviously kit markings with a special scheme, looks very nice. So there's our check one down in there with the actual eagle's head on the front. And then working around, so your kit number is 05801. Okay, and some more of them. So we've got some of the other ones down there. So we've got the East German one, and then obviously I think that's the Chinese one and the Russian one down there as well. So we've got nice options in this gorgeous Russian colour scheme, which we absolutely love, and we're back around to it on there. So in the box we actually have our usual bits and pieces. Now my question is about the size of the box on this thing. So we'll look at it in a moment. Just grab this little lot. Okay. So we've got the book on there, tools even, which you haven't seen before. Some nice stuff in here. Some really, really nice stuff. Things about the chain, the brass, and all their various things that they do these days, which is pretty numerous. Okay, it seems to be the latest thing they're putting into all of their kits. Instructions themselves. So down in here, and what's coming up, which is obviously what we've got. Weapons fit, decal call out, we'll look in a second. Okay, so parts tree, as you can see on both sides, and then working through it. So usual thing, starting off with the seat. Okay, so we've got the seat, and then obviously the cockpit, putting that all in. Decals, it looks like, for the instruments. The various things going down there. Engines, an engine nozzle set. Obviously it's not a full length engine, looks like it's just the back end, which is a bit of a shame. Okay, and then we've got just down here, we've got the main fuselage, intake system going into this one, nose gear, wheel well, cockpit interior walls, okay, being put in there just like that, and then it looks like it's a decal that goes over the top of these right the way through. Probably more inclined to do them manually. Okay, insertion of the cockpit, engine nozzle itself going in there, and then the two halves together. The tail, which it looks like it's an operational tail. Now the tail on these things, as we know, is quite long, so to aid in being able to take off and land, it does fold off to the side. So it's a two-part tail on a pin system, so it will fold. All right. Intakes, some of the nice little pitot tubes, things like that onto the intakes, quite a nice touch. A little bit of photo etch in there for the ram door closing unit itself. Okay, putting those in, two of those. Wheel well bay, again, some nice detail looks like going into those. And then obviously we've got the nose wheel with the mud guard or the fob deflector on the back there. Okay, and then coming in, we've got the wings. Simple job of a couple of sandwiches going down in there together, and then across the top, plate down on the top. Some of the lumps and bumps going on there. Speed brakes open or closed for the rear, nice touch in there. Unfortunately, we don't have any option down here for drops, flaps or anything else. Okay, then it's bringing it together. So top half going down, then in once you've got the main engine well and wheel well installed. Intakes onto there. Looks like we've got a side plate for the side. Do they have extra armour on these things on the side? Looks like they did. Fitted onto the side of the cockpit wall, and then the nozzle going on the back. Okay, and then a couple of lumps and bumps you actually got to add onto the tail unit. Drop the tail unit on. Tail planes go in. Just looking how they fit. It looks like it's a funny way that that's going to fit in there. Be interesting, okay, because if it is what it looks like it's just a saw unit going to be going in there. So it doesn't look like you can position it in the power down where it'd be slightly leaning back and things like that. And then obviously instrument panel, heads-up display being fitted down into there, and then put on, and then a canopy. Again, not showing it open or closed, although we assume you can. Okay, wheels themselves, actually putting those down into there, putting those in, two of those, and then fitting nose going on there, and then obviously all your little parts going in, and the lower speed brakes as well. A couple of aerials, no section going in on the front. Okay, then all the lumps, bumps and everything, as you can imagine. Gun pack for the belly if you're fitting that one to it, and then actually putting these guys on. So we've got the R13s, the Sidewinder rip-off, okay, being footed down there. Okay, and then we've got the M1 version, which has the earlier little fins for the front. Fab 500, 3-4 bombs. weapons rack itself, okay, and then your more traditional weapons fit going onto these. So you've got your R60s being fitted on twin launchers, which is a nice touch. Fuel tanks, systems put on there, and then your traditional sort of free-fall bomb on mirrors or multiple ejection racks being fitted on there. All right. And then obviously your weapons fit you're going to put onto it. So as we know, being Russian, you get all that lovely weaponry and everything else. So there's your call out for obviously all your decal placements and everything on there, and for your painting instructions for all your weapons. And here we have the actual beautiful colour work, as you can imagine, if you're going to be doing obviously the Czech one with the eagle's head on the front. Your standard sort of Czech one, as you can imagine, down here. Then we've got the East German one being put in. And then obviously we've got the one there for the Russian, your standard red 63, red 51, okay, or is that the Chinese one? I think so. Okay, somewhere like that. Sorry, being ignorant now. Okay, down on there. Was it Vietnamese? Something. Okay, decals themselves, he says, desperately now looking for his knife. What have I done with my knife? No knife. Okay. Found a razor blade. Okay. Decals themselves don't look too bad. Just drop this top one down just a little bit. Don't look too bad at all. Okay. Seem to be all okay. Nothing special, nothing you're going to write home about. Okay, so down in here we've got your weapons ones. Again, all seem to be all okay, very fine. You're not going to be able to read any of this, but it doesn't look too bad at all. Okay, and then I'm looking for the. Take this one on the side. Okay. Instrument panel one, extremely basic. These side ones as well, extremely basic. You'd probably get away with it in there being 1/48. It's just a shame they're not a little bit more in depth. Okay. Let's pull those over. Okay, then the kit itself. So, starting off with the big bag first. Okay, so looking round at it, doesn't look too bad. So we've got some nice recessed details down in here. So obviously all the riveting and everything else. The actual mould itself looks a little bit down the back here, doesn't look like it's polished, looks quite rough. At the front here doesn't look too bad. Just under here on this front edge looks a little bit clunky. Okay, but generally it's Russian, that's what they're like. Okay, it's a beautiful thing and why I love them. Okay, generally don't look too bad at all. The nose, obviously this is what this thing's all about, being the BN version. Obviously it's that different drop nose to aid the pilot for shooting at things at the ground. Okay, versus the other version with a full round nose with a radar on it. Okay, looks to be very nice, and very nice details in there. The riveting detail looks really, really good. It goes all the way to the edge as well, which is a nice touch. Very nicely done. Some nice details. They don't fade off, they're solid, go through all the way, no problem at all. So generally, I must admit, quite happy with how that one's looking. Then we have, let's do some of these, we've got lots and lots of bags in here. Okay, so looking at the spine of it, this is a nice detail, beautiful detail on this. This is what we love about the Russian stuff, absolutely fantastic. It's great to weather, it's great to give a wash to, and fade the paint and everything else to really bring them to life. Got a little bit of flash on some of the parts, but nothing actually you probably worry about or jump up and down about. They don't look too bad at all, and generally very nice. Great detail on all of these parts. Inside to the actual speed brakes down here, we don't have any ejector pins, so they're very nicely done. Very nice, all of those parts. Can't see a problem with that. Very nice indeed. Okay, so I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just work our way through the bag with all the screws. Okay. Okay, so engine nozzle itself doesn't look too bad. We've got some nice details down in there as well. Okay. generally, I must admit, we have got some very nice bits of detail down here. I'm loving the detail on this gun pack. That looks very nice as well. Forgetting using those decals, because these are great. The actual wheel, the side wells for the thing. The seat, multiple part. The cushioning looks all very nice. Some of the detail in here is absolutely exquisite. Nice detail in the bays, the cockpit head itself. The actual afterburner ring down the back here is very nice, cleanly moulded. Blade unit's pretty basic. Very nice detail inside these wheel wells. Okay, so we've got some nice details running up down there. I think that'll be absolutely fantastic once they're done. Okay, generally a little bit of flash, you can see just down here on the actual nozzle itself. You need a little bit of clean up in there. Hasn't come out of the mold the best. You probably see it just down on this edge down the back here. You can see that end part. A little bit of clean up. Generally not too bad. The cockpit, as I say, it's functional. I won't go overboard with it, but it's all right. It's all there. Okay, and all those parts. I haven't got my usual knife. Okay, so looking at the tail, again, very nicely done. Beautiful detailing, the riveting, everything else on there. Okay, you can see that, catching it all in the light. Some nice details right the way through. Instrument panel, absolutely fine, no problem at all. Not too much, very little actually burring on any of these parts. So for the gear itself looks pretty good. The actual wheel well doors, these are the front ones. We've got no ejector pin marks in there at all. So that's very nicely done. In fact, it's actually all very, very clean and crisp. Even these M parts down here for the sensors on the back of the tail, very sharp, very nicely moulded, no problem with any of those whatsoever. Some very true, good detailing in these. Okay, it's a shame it hasn't got any drop flaps on this, because it would have been a nice touch, but generally, nicely done. The riveting detail you can probably see on it is all there. Very clean, crisp, sharp. The undersides to them looking very, very nice as well. This is the actual FOD deflector or the mud guard on the back of the nose wheel. Beautifully moulded, very nice, very nicely detailed. This is your seat bottom. Okay, a little bit of flash around that, but very nice. A little bit of release agent on some of these molds, so it might be worth giving this a wash before you get in there. Okay, because this part here, yeah, horrible. But generally, nicely done. Again, these wheel wells, these are quite large parts, no ejector pins on the inside of them. Very nice touch. All the ejector pins which are in here are sunken and they're out of the way, okay, which is quite a nice touch. Might want to give that one a little bit of a scrape when you come to it. Nicely done on there. Okay, as you can see, we've got lots of bags in here. Okay. Bottom side of the actual the wing set up there as well, nicely done. This is the two-part we were talking about, where you've got the grooves just down here on the inside. Sandwich those together, and then that's going to go to the underside of the tail, so it's a moving part, so you can swing them away. Really, it still amazes me they have the joint for the cogs, so you've got movable wings, but hey ho. All right, intake. So you've got the ram air parts, you've got the little blanks in there. That's where your photo etch is going to go. A little bit of flash down here on these intakes. They have got ejector pins in there. I don't think you're going to see them, but they're quite easy to clean out. You get a skinny stick in there, a little bit of filler, and you'll be good to go. No problem at all. Actually, I must admit, I'm starting to really fall for this kit. This is absolutely fine. Now, this one we wanted to look at because it has got the tail planes on, and I wanted to know what's going on with these tail planes, and it's okay, they have got a small pin on them as well. I thought I couldn't see the pin on the instructions, so I was thinking how they're going to fit on there. So we've got the wings down here we've seen before, they're fine. Tail planes, beautifully done, very nice details on all of those, catching them in the light, you can see. Very nicely done. Standard wheels, two-part wheels on the hub, which is fair enough. Unfortunately, they're not weight on wheels, so you're going to have to sand them flat. Okay, and everything else, same with the nose wheel, generally okay. Main gear, a little bit of bearing perhaps on the sandwich on these, but no problem at all. Actually, very nice. Okay, so okay. Right, so this is your armour plate on the side. Now this is obviously the sprue, I do believe, for doing the different parts on here. So down in here we've got a couple of lumps, bumps, things like that. Okay. This is the armour plating, which is riveted all the way around there. That's quite a nice touch down there for the cockpit sidewall. Okay, various other parts down in there, no problem at all. nozzle ring, no sign of those. So I'm thinking this is just obviously the rehash. Weapons we won't go through because they're just standard bags of bombs, which you can imagine. Probably want a slightly bigger box. These are the standard ones you get with them all. And we're down in here, so we've got the fake winders. Okay, just down in there like that, no problem whatsoever. The intakes, have a quick skinny in here. Nice one-piece molded intakes. Beautiful detail top, middle and bottom on those. Okay, don't have to worry about the insides because obviously it's got a plate. Very nice at the blowing doors, molded in the open position. Nice touch. Okay, and then we've got photo etch. So we've got some harnesses down there, ejection handles, got the blanking plates obviously for the inside of those ram doors. Okay, a couple of little type of pitot angle of attack sensors, things like that. Inside of the speed brakes and everything else. Nice touch with those. Okay, and then we have the clear parts. So we delve in here and see what we can see in our fantastically done set. Okay, so this guy here, we've actually got the clear parts, which are absolutely legendary crystal, no problem with that at all. And we've actually got the designator and receiver glasswork wingtips, no problem at all. They are beautiful. Okay, and then in here we should have the main canopy. Okay, so you've got your main canopy down the back here, because obviously we've got the two types of the cockpit. This is for the fighter version. Okay, beautifully done, crystal clear, no problem whatsoever. So there we go. Now one thing, so there we go, this is the ML version, obviously the fighter version, but the big difference is the size of the box. Obviously this thing fits in it, but I suppose at the end of the day the biggest difference is the reason this is a smaller box is this hasn't got a ton of weapons with it, because this is all weapons. That's all that is weapons. Okay, so that's why you need a bigger box. And I was wondering at the beginning of this review why this box is twice the size of the other one. This one because it's got a ton of weapons, so you're going to have tons left over for your spares box down there, which is a lovely touch from Trumpeter. You know, I know you're going to get some people saying, yeah, but you're paying for that and I'm not using it. I'd rather have more than less. Just face it, how many times have been stuck with other companies like Hasegawa, things like that, no weapons, you have to go out and spend a fortune on weapons. This always makes sure you've got enough left over. There we go. As you know, I am a massive fan of the Russian stuff. I love what the weathering, I love that beat up look to it, I love the toughness, the ruggedness of all their aircraft and everything else like that. So watch out for this one for a future video built by myself. I absolutely love it. So there we go, for all you Russian fans and things like that, this is definitely a must-have kit.